Hi, welcome to Ethereal Perceptions. It's been a fat minute, I know, but let's just see what the cards have to tell me to tell you for today. So we got Ace of Wands in reverse as the overall theme or message. So you've been through the slumps, you've been feeling tired, exhausted, overwhelmed. You feel like no amount of effort that you have put in, it's just not been going into your fruition. But okay, but I am here to tell you, okay, that yes, you had to do the work. Yes, the work was brutal. Yes, you may not have received your fair share of whatever you've been working on, but all of this uprooting you've been doing and just cleaning and refining yourself is leading to such a beautiful life. A new life is being revealed to you at this current point of time. Okay, we got Justice out here, Knight of Wands in reverse, and then Queen of Wands, because you might have been rushing things, okay? And that's not to say that it's your fault. It's nobody's fault, okay? It's just things had to happen in a certain time frame. Of course, if it's like if you, it's like if you're going deep at it and and then all of a sudden it just like explodes in your face. Okay, this is what you've been trying, subconsciously trying to avoid, is things blowing up on your face. Okay. I do feel like there are people who are very attracted to you at this point of time, and you just got to really give in and give out of yourself for right now. Okay. Be okay in the stillness. Be okay with sitting all by your lonesome with no perceived support at this time. And just truly allow in these feelings, these deep hidden feelings that you may not have ever experienced before. Okay. And just know that someone from the past is going to approach you. They're going to approach you very gently. They're going to most likely give you flowers in some sort of way to reconcile with you. You may have been so invested in love and put all your time and effort into love, but the right person will come to you out of the blue. And it's just allowing the process to feel very organic and just and as I keep saying, just allowing two things come towards you. Okay. You might be thinking back on your childhood and your childhood crush or crushes, and thinking how it either went wrong or it went too right, where it was just maybe uncanny for you to even handle. But those past feelings are resurfacing for a specific reason, and this specific reason is for you to truly evolve from. Truly to evolve, you know? I know it's very difficult getting yourself out there when you've been through the ringer over and over again, okay? I truly know. Um, but just having like a small group of friends there to support you, or even like a small group of family members supporting you through, is what will make the change, is what will make the difference, okay? whenever you want to receive a love partner, okay? We got the Devil in reverse, and then Seven of Wands, because you've been battling toxic people, you've been battling addictions, most likely. You've been trying to retain order back in your life and not life dictating who you are, because only you get to decide who you are as an individual. And yes, you may have been juggling, you may have been carrying a lot of weight in the mind where things were just getting too cluttered. But just resurfacing and going back to the basics is what will make you feel happier. Okay, the man's face, I don't think you can really see it, but he's smiling while he's carrying all these swords. And even those swords are very sharp, he's holding them gently. Okay, so it's like you gotta be more gentle with yourself, with your words, with your actions. Okay. Um yes, it's it can be very difficult to balance things out, but the balance will come to you like literally out of the blue. Okay. It's like if you try to find this specific answer and you keep digging and digging and digging, you most likely won't find it. Okay. So that's why it's so better for you and your nervous system just to see things coming into fruition. Okay? So, let's see. You might be thinking about your specific person right now, and we're going to tap into what your specific person may want to say, this concept of a person. Okay? Your specific person wants you to maintain in this authority like figure and not necessarily dictating or controlling or demanding what you're verbally saying, but it's all like an internal response. Okay, so that sounds a little abstract, so we're gonna like dig deeper. We got Four of Cups, Judgment in reverse, and then Two of Pentacles upright. So it's like not being so picky, okay, about certain opportunities being given to you. Okay? And it's all about taking in appreciation, uh, being warm and considerate, and while being disciplined in yourself. Okay, whether or not it's you're in tune with the spiritual or you're more into practicality. Okay, it's releasing judgment, it's releasing all of these biases. I think I said that right. I don't know. Okay. uh, um and just perceiving things, not intellectualizing them, just seeing it for what it is. And then this connection with the Two of Pentacles out here, this connection will feel a lot more balanced and a lot more grounded and practical. Okay. You might like to explore, and that's okay. It totally is. That's just how we people are. We're naturally curious, as is. But you can't just let yourself get swept away by the waves and literally going after the first person that you believe is true love. True love takes time. Love in first sight is very, very rare. Now that doesn't mean it will never come true. It is if you put your mind to it. But it's like you got to put that mind frame and shift it onto the background instead of the foreground, where you're only making it your main priority. Okay? Love is growth. Love is absence too, because even though you may not have received a lot of like physical affection or physical words being spoken onto you, it isn't that, or maybe you received it too much and that's what you've been expecting, but it's in the absence and stillness where everything will come fluttering in yourself. That's why it's important to love yourself first and notice the qualities that you find admirable or maybe not so admirable. But people are messy, but that doesn't mean that we can't clean it up for ourselves, you know? And of course, you can't always do things alone. You really can't. That's why in the beginning I said it is very nice to have a close, supportive friend group or even friends, you know. But it is important to be um, an individual, not being so dependent. I know that's what we as society are working towards, is it's more independence and the autonomy within ourselves. But it's all a work in progress. Okay, it's not like you can't just expect it immediately, you know. And just know, the more you're working on yourself, as literally as cliche as it sounds, the more you're working on yourself, the more that you're maintaining your set principles, the more that you are attuning in what truly fills your cups, then everything is just gonna come gravitating towards you. Look how happy this man is. He's happy because he knows he got all of his ducks in a row. He knows how to be in control of himself, of themselves, and he doesn't necessarily rely on the chariot for immediate satisfaction or immediate success to come their way, because they know deep in their heart that they have everything that they desire, which might be authenticity, genuinity, passion within themselves, so that way they can express it out onto other people, onto their environment, onto whatever they're working on. Okay? So, what's the final key takeaway with this reading? We got Six of Swords in reverse, Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, both both upright. So it's taking the time and reflect and being slow and patient with this process, with meditating, with looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, "Wow, I am a great person. I am awesome. I am terrific, and I can achieve everything that I want in this life." And it's bringing the intellectual and the emotional side in union, okay? And I'm like, I'm very drawn to these two queens because I'm viewing it as them two just chatting, just chit-chatting, and like allowing in this calmness, this stillness, this silence of the mind, so that way you can bring in comfort within your own emotionality and your overall, you know, emotional health.
Hello.
Oh, there goes my speaker. And it's just like, I'm noticing how with the Queen of Cups, it's just like so sporadic, and it makes me feel warm, and with the Queen, it's so still and calm. So that's definitely what you want to aim for, okay? Whenever you want a relationship to come into fruition, okay? I'm gonna close off this reading by reading a card from the Empath deck by Raven Digitals and Custanian Backs. I'm so sorry. I have a hard time enunciating. Okay, so let's see. What might be the specific card to perfectly close off this reading? Okay. We got number 23, which is learning from social conflict. Okay. So I'm gonna see what the book has to say, and then we'll go off from there. Okay, the 3 essential themes this card talks about is equipping the mind with knowledge of how to gently deal with conflict, choosing not to become overwhelmed in the face of disagreement, and deciding to focus on the lessons of conflict rather than placing blame. So we're going to read what the artist has to say about the artwork they created. So just let your mind wander and expand while you're looking at the imagery, okay? The image for this card is about disagreements between 2 people and the confusion this leaves in both of them. At the same time, however, an attempt is made to resolve this dispute by recognizing the common ground between the individuals. Different opinions and views can be very fruitful if allowed with an open mind. This image illustrates the opposite of stubbornness. It shows us the gift of understanding as well as the ability to engage with and learn from differing opinions. Okay? Deeper meanings. Empaths notoriously strive to avoid social conflict. As much as we try, conflicts can arise, which is why we must be prepared. Sometimes these conflicts last for years or a lifetime, and other times they are temporary disagreements. This card reminds you that there are times when you do have the opportunity to learn more about yourself when social criticism is constructive. Insults and cruel exchanges, however, are destructive. With practice, you can gain the ability to know the difference. It's okay to recognize that when we make a mistake and to apologize for it, but we also need to know when we were doing the best we can in any given situation and must fight against becoming shamed, or persuaded into the role of the bad guy. We cannot wallow in these feelings. We also cannot solve everyone else's problems. We physically can't. We have enough of our own to deal with. When our perspectives are solicited by someone else, we can offer advice to the best of our ability, and we can refer others to professional resources when needed. Buddhist philosophy emphasizes right action. If you understand that you are acting and behaving in a compassionate, attentive, and responsible manner, you will find that the judgments and opinions of other people carry less weight. We can't allow others' negative opinions, whether from the past or present, to become a heavy burden to shoulder. By being in control of your own body and mind, a compassionate self-awareness can be achieved. If we choose to listen more than we talk, we are more apt to get along with others without being a pushover. It is vitally important to keep in mind that highly empathetic people not only have a blurred sense of social boundaries, unless this gets reinforced from traumatic experiences, but we also have a difficult time judging the boundaries of others. Not everyone is like us. We have a responsibility to take a step back socially. Even if that stepping back is brief, to feel out other people's social boundaries. If social conflict is forming around you, whether in the forms of tears, aggressive anger, or other hurtful emotions, it's vital that you disconnect to the best of your ability. Your intuition will guide your path in the situation. This does not imply a need to ignore, deny, or invalidate the other party's expressions. My cats are going wild right now. It's crazy. But to disallow them to sway you from your center. Okay? Empaths have the challenge to have emotional control in any given situation. This is empathetic empowerment. Because empaths are easily persuadable, it is important not to give in or fully agree with another person's train of thought. Ooh, excuse me. As we've been told all of our lives, there are two or more sides to every story. Suggestions for action, yelling, screaming, and dramatic outbursts do not sit well with highly empathetic people because the emotions attached to the reactive displays overtake us. This is especially the case when someone takes issue with us personally. It feels natural to absorb the criticism and take it on board. However, we must consider the source and remain somewhat stoic in the face of social conflict, like a tightrope walk. We should not totally bow our heads in shame during interpersonal conflict, nor should we respond with the same amount of reactive intensity. We must remain centered and true to ourselves. Socially, it's important to remain self assured while still being open to others' opinions, feelings, and perspectives. Disallow the pendulum to swing to arrogance or smugness. These are shallow defense mechanisms that make it appear that you're not validating someone else. These projective defenses do little to improve a person's social abilities. At the end of the day, honesty is the best policy in social situations, and it's okay to be honest by humbly asking for clarity. A good technique is along the lines of, so, what you're saying is X, Y, and Z. As this helps reaffirm to the listener that we are picking up what they're putting down. If you are involved in any given conflict, please try to take some space so you can be responsive rather than reactive. The process of being responsive requires the empath to take a little bit of space, step back, and understand the dynamics of any given situation. Okay? And yeah. That was your reading, and I hope you have a great evening, morning, night, day. Okay, and I'll see you guys whenever, and yeah, make today great. Okay, bye.